Thank you. We are moments away for qualifying from the Albert Park circuit in Melbourne, Australia. I am Nexi. I'm joined here in the commentary box by Pritis. And today, a champion will most likely be crowned for both the Drivers' Championship and the Constructors' Championship. Let's fill you in right now. Last week at Brazil, Leo was 1 point short of getting his hand on that championship trophy that he has not held since the first season of FRL. 1 point short after Luck, his teammate, took over and won the race. He is currently at 223 points. Drew on 146. For Drew to mathematically stay in it, especially counting countback, you would need to get every single point available to him. That is 26, 25 for the race win, 1 for the fastest lap, and Leo needs to not score today. Given his track record, well, that's going to be a very tough order indeed. For the team standings, the Constructors, Mercedes, are on 328 to Alpine's 198. They are too short today, technically, from having enough to have clinched it last weekend. So, with not many points available up for grabs, if Mercedes gets a good finish, Alpine does not, then Mercedes will have clinched the Constructors' title as well. However, as usual in racing and FRL in general, that is not the whole story, as we see a McLaren and an Aston Martin coming out of the pits. Williams only hold a 5-point gap to Aston Martin, and Sauber are still in that picture, 24 to 19 to 13 points. You know, McLaren have overtaken Ferrari in the standings, and that is going to be huge for the McLaren team, who have been long trailing that Ferrari team. Helping their efforts today, though, well, 2 drivers have qualifying bans. They will be starting from the back. That is the Haas of Drew, who needs to remember win with the fastest lap. And then it is the Ferrari, the sole Ferrari of Mateus, who will also be lining up from the back of the grid here at the Albert Park circuit. Anything you wish to add on, Pritis?
As far as I know, with that call ban, I'm fairly sure that might wipe away Drew's chances at attempting to secure the World Drivers' Championship title. And besides that, Mercedes and Leo are already so far ahead, they've already have one hand on the trophy.
Yep. I couldn't agree more right now. Interesting coming into play, though, is that Lenny is once again driving. He was in the commentary box last week, and I think he found his want to drive again. Getting discharged, as he said, for a roleplay. Here we go. I am looking at Avo. Seeing him gonna be setting the first time. Is Sector 2, 45.7. Albert Park recently changed a couple of years ago to make that second sector more fast and flowing, removing a couple chicanes there. 4 DRS zones. I think that's the most of any track in terms of DRS zones.
And so far, it's the only track that has that accolade.
Yeah. So 4 DRS zones, good overtaking spots into turn 1. You can maybe try to stick it around at the end of Sector 2, start of Sector 3, where there's that really fast left-right chicane before the track goes into a more technical Sector 3. This is honestly one of my favorite tracks on the calendar, though. It's very nice, very flowing. And Laz gets the ball rolling with a 1:19.5 provisional pole time. We're going to see Ties coming out next. Oh, no. Ties has invalidated his lap. So we will not see him. Cloudy qualifying session. Ties choosing to stay out. We also have a Haas out. That is Glazzy. A 1:18.4 as he sets a strong provisional pole time now, beating Lazarus's provisional pole time in that Sauber by, well, a second and change. Alpine coming out of the pits now. That is Sierra. Ties is working through his lap. And there is the Red Bull of Lenny on his out lap as well. Lenny is snaking through Sector 3, about to start his flying lap. Now, Drew is the big one with the quali band that has the most for the championship standings, especially for the fight for P2, which Lenny is well within reach of. It's a long shot one. It's currently a 31-point gap with 3 races. It's possible, especially as Lenny is a driver with race-winning form. We'll have to see if he can get the ball rolling on his attempts to get P2, and it looks like it's a purple Sector 1 from Lenny. So, setting that up pretty good. Ties with a 1:23. 1:20.3, I should say.
Yeah,
Lenny's invalidated.
Validated his.
He has. Not an ideal situation from the Red Bull driver. We will see Sierra starting his, though.
The enemy of every good fast lap around Albert Park it always turns 11 and 12.
Yep. Those two, you really need to get your car through there. Just cut as much of the corner. You gotta be careful around those high curbs, but if you can take as much as you can carry a lot of speed through there into that third DRS zone. And then get right into a heavy braking zone. We're actually going to be seeing Sierra coming through here. Look at him, brake at about 50, very light. Hold a high gear. Chuck the car around. That's a purple Sector 2 you got on your hand. The Williams of Ties pulling off to the side to make sure not to impede. And then here you have a fast right-hander. Almost flat. And then your speed goes all the way down. I think Sierra was very loose going through the last turn, but he sets a 1:17.8. So it's a wide. Yeah. It is a wide variety of lap times as we currently go through the session. Morgan, 1:18.6, puts her provisionally leading the second row. Sauber of Laz currently has a second row start, but here comes the Mercedes with Leo trundling out of the pits. Himaru is the is one of the others who has not yet set a lap time, and he is not coming out of the pits just yet. We'll see when he chooses to come out. There's an Aston Martin behind Leo. That is Avery, who's looking to improve. He rounds the final turn, gets those curbs. That's a 119.8. Finds... Oh my god, he and Skylar are tied.
The exact same lap time, huh?
Yeah. Skylar said it first, so he does have the advantage.
Now, where have we seen this before?
Life imitates art, art imitates life. And I guess video games are art. That is my official stance on it. Skylar pulling into the pits. Leo is rounding out, finishing up Sector 2. 44.6 is his current time. It was flashing purple on my screen. Lenny about to start his flyer. See if he can do anything to challenge Sierra up at the front end of the grid. Leo eats up that inside there. That's going to be in the 117s. 117.7 is the time Leo sets. And he takes provisional pole by a 10th. Lenny, though, is on a fast lap himself. That's a purple sector 1, according to my timing sheet. He's coming on through. According to my timing sheet, that's a purple sector 2 as well. Entering the third DRS zone now. Going across that, just blipping the corner. That always feels good when you nail an apex of a corner like that. And he rounds the last chicane. Opens up the DRS flap on the exit. Takes a little bit of grass, but not enough to upset the car, and that's a 117.5 from Lenny. A beautifully done lap. Laz is on a flyer as well. He's going to be the next across the line. The disqualify session is shaping up. Kimaru still has not exited the pits. I'm wondering why that is. I don't think he has a quali ban. Laz managing to improve his time to a 119.3, but not enough to improve position. That does give him a little bit more of a cushion against Zed, who is now exiting the pits. Morgan is starting a flyer. Same with Ties. The Williams, but currently Aston Martin looking to close up that gap to Williams. Assuming the Williams driver of Ties cannot find any more pace here as we continue to fight for the back of the standings. Ties is going to be behind Zed. Just an interesting thing here, because Zed's on a flyer. Or, no. Ties is on a flyer. Zed is on an out lap.
Ties is right behind Morgan.
Oh, that's Morgan. I apologize.
Yeah.
The helmets confused me. They have very similar helmets. Both running pretty trans pride colors. It is the month of June, after all. Finally, the AlphaTauri is coming out of the garage. That is Kimaru. On your screen, he will be AlphaTauri Wolf. Is looking at these two. Morgan shaves off 3/10. Ties puts himself up the P6 for 118.7, and that's exactly what he needed to do against the threat of the Astons. Now it's Zed, who's gonna have to navigate some traffic. Back there is a Haas. That's Glazzy coming out once again. Looking to maybe breach the 117s, maybe get himself onto that front row. The McLaren coming around. 3 temps up. Is this going to be enough to pip the Sauber? We will see. Yellow flags in Sector 3. Will this be a problem for the Kobold? This is going to be a very tricky corner if you get caught by lapped traffic. Or by, slower traffic. Nope. Zed manages to get through without incident. Gonna be a 119.4. Only 2 temps of improvement. The Sauber's improvement was enough. I see that's both Aston Martins coming out of the pits. It is Avery first, then Skylar. They're going to be looking to improve their position. Unfortunately, the tie will probably not last unless they both mess up on this flying lap. Maru's coming around Sector 3. The Astons looking to improve their position. Our front row folks have not gone out yet. They're going to be waiting as long as they can. Remember, there was some drama last week with the qualifying as Drew did cut a large part of Brazil's Sector 2 in order to be able to set the lap that would get him pole position. He was given a license point for that, and that is why he is off the track today. Mateus is off the track today for just accruing license points as well, at least in the qualifying session. Here we go, the end of qualifying now. We have Avery going slow. Now he's going to be opening up that DRS flap. And the Aston Martins will be the first to set new times. Mercedes and Sauber in Sector 2. Only a small gap between them. I think Leo is letting the Sauber through as both Aston Martins are now going to set their laps. Same with the Haas. Sorry, the Haas just finished its lap. It's a 1:17.6. Blasi provisionally putting it on the front row. But Leo will have a chance to respond, and Sierra will also have a chance to respond, assuming they get by. There are 30 seconds left in the session. There's actually a risk that, the Williams might not get back to the track in time, or back to the start-finish line in time. They should be okay. We'll see, though, but for now, our first of the final set of times is crossing through Sector 3. He's taking the inside there. Like he might get a 119. No. Avo doesn't improve. Skylar is a 10th up. He improves. Sierra, crucially, for Glazzy actually, both Sierra and Ties do not get back to the line in time. The Sierra's qualifying session is done. Ties' qualifying session is done. Skylar improves a little bit, breaking the tie, but not enough to get Zed. Leo is going to be setting a new time. He has a 10th up. That's all he needs to get back onto the front row. Lenny with a 117.5 appears to be too strong for pole, though. Oh, it's a 117.4! I spoke too soon. We'll have to see if Lenny has anything in the tank. He's invalidated. He has invalidated, so our pole sitter will be Leo by a 1/10 of a second. On that last lap, Lenny lining up beside him. These two had a beautiful championship fight earlier in the year before Lenny's was cut short. These two, though, just seemingly, even if there's not a championship on the line, these two are just getting back right where they left off with each other. Setting a wonderful fight in qualifying. Leading off your second row is Glazzy, and then it's Sierra, who was too late to the line. Crucially, the Aston Martins are the last of the people that have that qualifying times. Behind them, though, will be our two who have to serve qualifying bans. We'll go over the full grid in a moment. That was a not the most drama-filled qualifying session, but certainly an exciting qualifying session. Glazzy's been improving every race since he's got here. He's found that has a lot of pace. Morgan continuing to get P5. Ty's doing everything he needs to. But speaking of doing everything he needs to, Leo's lining up on pole, which is not just what he needs to. He's going above and beyond. Yes. Alright. Gonna be patiently waiting to see what tires we are gonna be seeing. Any predictions? What tire do you think they're gonna dominate with?
I'm gonna say I'm usually gonna say a medium hards sort of thing.
Yeah, medium hard.
Just mediums.
Mhm.
Unless someone has the bright idea to try and bonsai the line, the timing sectors on soft tires.
Mhm. Yeah. I think this is one of those tracks where medium soft run can maybe work. It's going to be very hard. You can also make a two-stop work, but it's
Not recommended.
It's not an easy track to overtake on, as while our predicted strategies, a soft medium is doable according to our predicted strategies. And it looks like the top 5 starting on the softs, same with the bottom 3, but then 6 through 10 are on the medium tires. Our pole man is Leo, followed by Lenny in second. Our second row has a Haas Alpine, Glazzy leading Sierra. Third row is a familiar spot for Morgan, lining up ahead of the Williams of Ties. Ties is the sole Williams in this race, Bluey not taking part in the Australian Grand Prix. A new high for the Saubers, starting P7 with Laz. He's the sole representative of the team. And then it is the AlphaTauri of Kimaru lining up behind him. Next up is the McLaren of Zed and the lead Aston Martin of Skylar, last runner in the points. Followed behind them will be the second Aston Martin and our quali band drivers of Mateus and Drew. Mateus and Drew very far behind from the pack on this opening formation lap. Little bit of a gap forming up. Interesting to see a couple of them starting on the medium tires, though. But the softs seem to be most of the grid. You're starting on the mediums, you do get the flexibility. You get a little bit of flexibility going on, especially if a safety car comes out. You can take these mediums for a while, but you still have the option of going on to the hards. The soft runners, depending on the lap, might just go for mediums if there's like a safety car in the middle of the race, like lap 10. You see the grid now forming up. It's a very weird camera angle that the game has chosen to give me. But we are moments away from the FRL Australian Grand Prix. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And FRL, the game has given me this bug again. FRL is now away in Australia. This is certainly one race. As here we go, Leo and Lenny fighting it out. Leo does get ahead of Lenny turn 1. Movement up and down the grid. Sierra is past Ties. Morgan is past Sierra, though. Lazarus up to P6. No yellow flags out. The grid has gotten by cleanly, but Mateus and Drew are on a charge on those softs. The medium's not firing off the line. Avo is even past Skylar, as it looks like there was a little bit of chaos going through turn 1, but everybody's managed to keep it on track. Leo and Lenny were side by side through turn 1, but now Leo has cleared almost a second of a gap. Lenny is looking behind him, trying to avoid Glazzy getting by. The Haas, the English driver in the Haas, is looking to get through, but not quite able to right now. We then have the McLaren and Morgan. She's been in positions to get podiums, but Sierra gets by on the outside, just having a bad exit through those turns. And Sierra is now back up at the 4th position where he started this Grand Prix from. Here we go, though. About half a second now between Lenny and Leo. Leo is leading. These drivers are now trundling down the turn 1 here, as we have now started to get settled in. This is kind of highlighting some of the difficulties you can have overtaking here at the Albert Park circuit. As our top few are looking by, we are seeing Kimaru challenging the Sauber of Laz. Ooh! Kimaru not quite able to get by, but this is going to open up Ties to maybe do some moves. Drew also, with a great start, is now at the P9. And Ferrari and Mateus in P10. The McLaren of Zed is behind him. However, this Williams is right up the gearbox at the Haas. This is very close, very tight racing. He's going to look to the outside of the Sauber. He's late on the brakes. The Sauber may be braking a little too much. The Williams struggling on the curbs, and he's going to lose a couple positions. He just lost the rear, had a bit of a snap, and now the Haas of Drew is looking to get by both the Sauber and the Williams. He does so. The Williams is now pulling off to the side of the Sauber, and Laz's race is coming undone in the span of a sector. Those medium tires just proving to not be the tire to be on right now, as the Ferrari even looking to get by on the outside. He pulls into the gearbox of the Sauber. Laz looking to desperately cling on to these points. The medium tires, the race will come to him, but right now he just has to do his best to hold position. As here he goes. That's Mateus to the inside, able to late brake. And he is through. Has currently now Laz, as high as 6, is now having his whole race undone. Sierra has gotten past Glazzy up in the 3rd while all this was going on. And our 2 race leaders are miles ahead of them. 1.8, 1.9 seconds now. DRS will be enabled come. The DRS is enabled. It is allowing Lenny to stay behind. Both these drivers are very strategic, very slow as Drew gets past the AlphaTauri. He is up into 6th. A good result for Haas, looking to fight Red Bull and the Constructors here. Fight Alpine and the Constructors as well. But these two up front, Lenny looking to the inside, decides against it. He is right up Leo's gearbox, as Morgan is now down in the 6th. Drew, the Haas, getting up into 5th position. Morgan without any DRS. There is a double DRS detection point. If there's yellow flags in the back, that's, it looks like it was Avo.
It's Zed.
No, it's Zed.
It's Zed.
Ooh. Something happened with Zed back there. The McLaren appear... No, I don't know if they have wing damage. I can't quite tell if they do. But that McLaren...
Doesn't look like anything's come off.
Yeah, that McLaren, though, was in the wall there. Could have just been a curb. Those exit curbs around turn 1, turn 2 can be a little bit. They are elevated a bit. Lenny is in the lead for all this. Looking at the incident behind, Lenny actually eking out an 8/10 gap. Leo will have DRS to play with. And we can't really discount Leo. But Lenny looking to win on his return to FRL. The two Hasses are fighting back there. Drew is through. As it looks like that these drivers are giving us action. Lenny has a skid, it looks like. His rear just kind of stepped out under him, from what I saw, and that's going to give Leo a good chance to keep it behind. These two are very patient, very strategic. They're going to be like this for a while. Leo's not going to be one to waste his tires on moves that he's not going to be certain of getting done. Leo with the DRS. He's close to Lenny. This sector, this chicane, though, is a really hard one to follow through. The dirty air can cause problems for any driver here. DRS keeping them close together as they go through Sector 3 now, approaching the final chicane. We'll see if Leo's able to follow, able to put himself into a striking distance right now. It appears that the answer to that question is currently no, as Lenny is just finding a little bit more pace in that Red Bull than Leo is in his Mercedes right now. Sierra holding 3rd. Drew is eating into his gap, though. He's almost into DRS for that podium spot. Drew with a really large... Well, Drew is consistently able to get these podiums. Further back, Ty is right on the tail of Mateus. And Morgan's on the tail of Kimaru. Half a second right now. And we have the two Aston Martins out of the points. And a pretty long distance between them. I think they had fallen behind a little bit as part of whatever happened to Zed, but we'll have to see what's going on. The three at the back are currently probably just waiting as Leo stuck it to the inside. He was significantly alongside. Lenny gave him room, but just enough as Tyza spun. Tyza spun. He's off the track. This is going to let the Aston Martins get back into the fight for the points that they so desperately need if they want to get by the Williams team here for P7 and the Constructors. Oh, Lenny and Leo are close. Leo wants to hold his position here, though. I don't think Leo's going to be making too many mistakes. He doesn't have a lot of pressure. He still wants to win, but in terms of the overall standings, if he holds here, both championships are done. We'll see what he does. Drew has now managed to close in to Sierra. Sierra's tires just He tends to struggle with tire wear throughout his setups. The way he likes the car tends to eat up the tires, and we might be seeing that coming into play now as Drew is going through the outside. Little bit of DRS to help, and he's by even before the turn, before you have to tap on the brakes here, and the double DRS is going to secure the pass for Drew. We'll see if Sierra has anything to fight back with. Mateus gets past Kimaru in the back there. That's going to put Morgan into play. Morgan was running as high as 4th. Now down in 8th. As our competitors seem to string themselves out, Leo is within 2/10 at that braking zone, but not quite able to get a move started or done. I don't think these two are going to go for anything that they're not certain about, because if they keep delaying it, if they keep fighting hard, then that just puts Drew in play. Ties is in the pits. Ties is in the pits. He is pitting to fix his wing, it appears, and go onto the hard tire. Leo has DRS. As these two are fighting for the lead. Leo pulling to the inside. He's alongside as they go through this left-right chicane. And Leo is through on the outside. Lenny giving it his all. The double DRS secures the position there. Lenny giving it his all to defend, but... well, not quite his all. I think he conscious of Drew back there. Leo was just able to get the move done. They're avoiding that curb there. Smart move. Leo not taking risks on the curbs. Lenny eating a little bit of curb there. They now start a new lap. We are on lap 9 of the Australian Grand Prix for FRL. Leo, our pole man and race leader currently, fighting off Lenny, who is on his debut back into the series after getting cleared out to race. It's then Drew and Sierra lining in 3rd and 4th. Sierra, 8/10 behind, almost a second. And there's a yellow flag in the back. I think it's Mateus. Yeah, Mateus. I don't see any damage on that car, but he is slow. He was off the track. And there's an Aston Martin in the pits. It's Avery, as he's pitting off of those soft tires. Currently, Sierra following is ahead of Glazzy, and they've all strung out their DRS. Lenny looking to get back at Leo. They're close! There's contact, and they both spin! That's going to promote Drew to the race lead. Lenny hit the rear wing of Leo, and Drew now has a chance. If Leo doesn't score any points, he's still mathematically in the championship if Drew wins with the fastest lap point. Sierra's pitting now. And that's Lenny behind Kimaru. And we have a new race leader, and it's a Haas 1-2 at present.
So you don't see everything.
No, you don't. Kind of like it, probably like the feelings that you had watching Jordan in '98.
Or Maxon scoring his first and only pole position.
Yeah. Lenny going around, eating up those curbs. He's now in push mode. He wants to get back into this podium fight. Kind of a careless mistake, though, from the Red Bull. Normally don't see him making the kind of mistake where he makes contact with the rear wing of the car ahead of him. I think that's just a sign of how intense their fighting was, though. A couple drivers have pit now. Skyler yet to pit. Zed yet to pit. Laz and Kimaru yet to pit, as well as our top 4. Drew, Glazzy, Leo, and Lenny all yet to pit. I'm surprised Lenny has survived that contact without any front wing damage. Oh! Both Leo and Glazzy are in the pit. Drew is going to have to respond to cover off Leo here. Presumably. Lenny, I think, is gonna... I think staying out for Lenny gives him the advantage, and he's gonna be considering doing that. Sierra's actually passed both Glazzy and Leo through all of that. I wonder if Sierra's close enough to be in the net lead of the Grand Prix, as Drew is going to presumably be coming into the pits. And through the pit phase, our cars have strung out. Drew, what do you think is going through Drew's head now? Starting last on the grid and is now in the lead.
That's a strategists will have to get crafty somehow.
Yeah.
Have to find some way. Get crafty, try and stay ahead of his championship rival.
Yeah, Drew is staying out. I know he wants the medium tire. I think he wants a more certain medium tire. Where he doesn't realize just how far, or just how close, I guess, Leo is after the undercut.
Relatively speaking.
Yeah, well, it is within... He is within undercut range. Glazzy also within undercut range, and he should know that, considering his teammate hit. Glazzy is on hard tires, and Sierra did get past the Sauber of Laz. Laz on old medium tires, gonna be going for the reverse strategy if I had to guess. Skyler, also having not yet pit, is about to come under threat from the Ferrari of Mateus. That Ferrari is just eating into that gap on the fresher mediums. Drew's in. Here he comes. Lenny is also in. Between these two, it'll be a race in the pit that the Haas team wins. Going on to medium tires, Kimaru is now leading the race, and Sierra's ahead of Drew. Leo's gonna be right behind, going around the outside. There's a little bit of a skid as Glazzy's through. That's Laz off the track. Leo looking to the inside. This was perfectly timed. Glazzy being able to help provide some rear gunner support, and both asses remain ahead of Leo. Incredible driving there as Sierra is in the lead of the Grand Prix. That was close. That was too close if you're in the Haas team right now. But, well, close is still enough. Sierra getting DRS. But Leo's past Drew. Wait, no, sorry. Leo has passed Glazzy, getting right up to Drew. That medium rubber doing a lot more than the hard rubber right now. And Leo's going to be looking to the inside of Drew, but Drew manages to hold the position, just gets the better line through the turn. Drew has dumped his battery. I saw a flashing light there for a moment. Drew was desperate to stay ahead. Aggressive to nearly pull off such an overcut. I'm seeing Sierra on the inside of Kimaru. A very standard pass there. Now Leo's kind of settling in a little bit behind Drew. Teus has passed the Sauber. The Sauber is the last of our drivers to pit. Besides Zed and Kimaru, I suppose. Skylar's opted for the soft tires. Which is a brave strategy at this point. I think he does... Yeah, he does have to pit again. Because he started on the soft, so he's locked into a two-stop. He'd be hoping for a safety car as Ties is past the Sauber, but the Sauber does have fresher rubber. Leo, Drew, and Glazzy are all three of them are fighting it now. Leo looking to get by, but Zed has pit on the hard tires. And that's Kimaru coming into the pits, the last of our drivers to stop. A couple cars will get by him, but currently Sierra in the net lead of the Grand Prix. Lenny sets the fastest lap. But your race leader is Sierra, and then it's Drew and Leo. Rounding out your top three. And we have Galazzi, who was, for a moment, the second part of a Haas 1-2. And kind of crucial to keep Drew ahead of Leo there. And then we have Lenny in P5, who was, for a moment in P2, had led the race earlier, but then hit the rear wing of Leo, who also had led the race earlier. Leo sets a purple sector 2, it looks like. He's getting right up Drew. Drew goes to the inside, but Leo has the speed and the DRS. Leo is through in the second. Drew, look at the fight back. The detection point is here. Leo takes the full racing line, though. Drew is going to be right on that rear wing. He's studying it right now, studying all of those sponsors. But Leo has the exit. He has battery. He holds P2. Laz has gotten past the Williams of Ties back here. These two are side by side as they go through our final few turns. Drew and Leo are fighting. Drew went to the outside here, the DRS zone. They bang wheels! They bang wheels, and Leo backed out of it. Drew holding on to second. Like a fierce dog here. And this just slows them down and gives Sierra more time. Sierra was already harder on the tires. His tires are older than both Drew and Leo. Not quite as old as Glazzy's, though. The Sauber in the back is holding up a train right now. Skyler on his softs. He needs to make up ground because he is locked into a two-stop. He's the only one that has to stop again. He's also probably going to be looking for a safety car, I had to guess.
If it comes.
Yeah, but a safety car here would shake up this grid.
It comes, but never say never.
Yeah, especially with how Drew has been fighting hard. Glazzy and Lenny are also going to be fighting. Glazzy's out of energy. And Lenny's going to know this. Lenny is always very aware of the battery game, as Skyler actually manages to get by the inside. He gets pretty inside at the last turn. That's just the traction you get from fresh softs compared to older hards. It was actually a pretty impressive move there on his part. That's a turn you don't normally see moves happen on.
And suddenly Lenny.
Yeah, here comes Lenny. 2 3-second time penalties coming out. 1 for Ties and 1 for Glazzy, relating to track limits, as Lenny is now back into this fight. He's pushing hard. Imaru and Morgan are right up against each other. Morgan looking to make something happen here with Kimaru, but Kimaru has the fresher rubber. I think Drew is now right up to Sierra. He's going to be looking for the lead. That DRS is crucial. Sierra's tires are older. They're hard tires, and he's hard on his tires. There is a palpable traction difference here. Drew is just getting better exits every turn. He's right up that Alpine. The Alpine here looking to hold the lead as best he can. It's been since the beginning of the season since he's won a race. I think he really wants this win right now. He went for the undercut. He got the undercut, but now the weaknesses of going for the undercut are coming through. Drew had a front wing alongside that rear tire for a second. Here's the DRS. He's going outside. That might have been moving under braking by the Alpine there. He moved to cover off and defend. There was a little bit of contact on the front wing, but Drew is now through for the lead. Sierra making a little bit of contact with the Haas. And Leo is in third now, looking to fight too. And Lenny's in play. 4 cars, 4 teams, 4 excellent drivers, all now fighting for the lead at the Australian Grand Prix. This is incredible fighting here. Something else that could come into play here is Zed, who is currently going through the first DRS zone of Sector 2. These guys, they're quick enough, well, the blue flags will come into play. Drew, though, has the freshest rubber. Well, it's as fresh as Lenny's. Drew and Lenny have the fresh rubber. Leo trying to hold on to his podium position. Sierra looking to fight back. These 4 are just putting on another show. Sierra opens up the DRS. He's looking to the outside. Not quite able to find the traction that he needs to make the move work. And, little wiggly. Sierra not using all of the curb there, and that's... Yeah, he's missing some traction, and Leo's gonna have a chance here as they go down the pit straight. But Sierra has DRS. And has enough to make it work, but Leo is right up that rear wing. None of these guys had to stop again. This is just a straight-up fight to the finish right now, as we have 10 to go in the Australian Grand Prix. They're rounding out Sector 2, and Drew is starting to pull away from Sierra. Sierra loses that DRS, he's going to be in intense trouble. Part of why he is able to stay so close, Laz has a 3-second time penalty for track limits warnings, as Leo is now holding the inside against Lenny, who has gone wide! Lenny in the grass! And is now 1.7 seconds behind Leo. Returning man jitters, I suppose. These drivers are all looking to fight around here. They aren't giving each other an inch. Leo gonna be looking to get by Sierra. Lenny is starting to eat into that gap. 1.5 seconds now. Sierra can, maybe if he's not going for the lead, just try to hold up Leo a little bit. Morgan's out! Morgan is out in a safety car. There is a safety car. And that'll put the race on pause for a bit. That opens up a whole new dynamic. And Avo with a drive-through penalty. He had this issue last week where he had a drive-through penalty for a safety car speeding. It's not ideal. But Morgan is out. Morgan is out, and this benefits the Ferrari team most.
If it seals with for an alternate strategy that hinges on something like the safety car coming out.
Mm-hmm. Skylar's gone on to another pair of softs. Didn't he start on softs?
I think he did.
Yeah. Oh boy, all 4 of our race leaders are coming into the pits now. And this is going to be a battle of the pit crews. Drew's is first. No mistakes, it's all clean. Sierra's out ahead, and then it's Leo and Lenny. No change in the pits. But these 4 now are all going to be on soft tires. They are going to go for a straight shootout here. Kalasi choosing to opt for mediums. And it's Mateus opting for softs. Yeah, every driver's coming in now. Most of the grid for softs, it is Kalasi, Laz, and Ties on the medium tire. Ooh, boy. I need to get some water. I'm sorry. I feel like Skylar had to start on the medium tires. Else why would he hit for soft, of all things? Yeah, no, he actually did start on the medium tires. I apologize for getting confused earlier. These drivers looking to try to warm up their tires now. Keep them warm. As we start lap 23 of the FRL Australian Grand Prix. I'd say the person this benefits the most really, well, besides our Aston Martins, is Zed, who was kind of just in no man's land in the back for a bit. Now they have a chance to get back in and maybe score a point to limit the damage that missing their teammate will cause. I think this also does actually benefit the Alpine of Sierra. I think the person this least benefits is Drew, who was kind of winning on the tire game a little bit here. Just had good tires. Was dealing with Sierra, who, like, he had Sierra between him and Leo and Lenny. And Sierra's tires were going to age a little bit, and Sierra could have held them off, and he was kind of cruising with a bit of a comfortable lead. But now his position's not as certain as it would have been. And that's going to be interesting here for Drew, who is looking for his first win in FRL. Safety car is not going in this lap. We will do one more rotation with the safety car.
They'll only go in the very moment that Zed catches up in about a few seconds.
Mm-hmm. Yep, so when we start, it'll be 5 to go. We'll have 5 laps of green flag running.
That's up, and as we wait for race controller relayed message to burn my lander over in the AMG safety car.
Don't we have a furry name for Bert in this universe?
To be honest, no, I don't think so.
Maybe we can call our safety car driver Turt Mylander. Turt the Turtle. That's why Hamilton always complains about the safety car speed. He's a turtle.
I mean, the man is legitimately fast. Just not within these Mercedes-powered safety cars. As Speak the Devil, the safety car is being called in.
Yep, safety car in this lap. The track condition is green. Restart procedure is going to be going through. Now, the game does like to slow down, throttle up the lead driver for a little bit. This has caught people out before. We've had a few incidents of broken front wings. As we are getting ready. Drivers looking to warm up their tires to make it work. Drew gonna be taking them around the final chicane nice and slow. Will he time it right? See.
Ooh. To drive this basically perfectly.
Let's see what we go as FRL is away in Australia once again. And Zero was completely caught off guard under the restart. That's going to leave Leo and Lenny side by side for a few moments. But Sierra just losing it there. There's a couple 3-second time penalties coming out. Mateus comes up at the 5th. As here we go now, though. Sierra's caught back up to the Haas. Leo and Lenny not far behind Sierra, but there is a little bit of a gap. Avery also has a 3-second time penalty, and that lets Zed get through into 11th. Drew has set a purple sector 1 here with the fresh softs as we go through. We are racing hard. And that's ties past the Sauber of Laz. A lot of 3-second time penalties, though, in this back gaggle, and that's going to promote Zed up to a really good position if they're able to keep up with this gaggle. Ties is past Skylar here now, and Sierra is all over the back of Drew. Lenny and Leo are fighting it hard in the back there. Around, that's Zed past Skylar. Zed has passed Skylar. The Aston Martins are out of the point at current moment. 1:19.8 is the fastest lap now set by Drew. And Drew's in the... No, he's not in the gravel. He was in the gravel on my camera for a brief second. EA have made a perfect game.
Well, everything's stuttering on my end also.
Yeah, it's... Well, welcome to F1.
Welcome to online.
Yeah. No, I think it's just these games in general. Skylar holding the back of Zed. Looking to fight on by. Ooh, these two are actually going to be really close to each other. These two have had a long-standing fight. But Lenny is also close and is ahead of Leo. So Lenny on the podium here. Mateus is in this fight now. Though with a 3-second time penalty, I don't see Leo defending Mateus too hard. But Sierra is giving Drew an 8/10 gap. Drew is starting to get comfortable, and I think if you're him, you're thinking, wow, we're winning this. We could very well win this race. Sierra with a 3-second time penalty for track limits. He's pushing hard. Too hard. He's got a penalty.
Which now would play into the hands of Leo.
Yeah, that does put him into the podium positions again. Sierra 2, it also plays into Lenny, who I think is his closest points rival now in the championship. Glazzy with another 3-second time penalty. That could end up benefiting Zed in the back there. Here we go. Lenny looking to get Sierra. Was right alongside for a moment, as it's now a 5-way fight for first. Drew is looking to hold on to this lead. He's crossing it. Crossing around, and now we are about to start the penultimate lap of the Australian Grand Prix here. Drew crosses the line for the penultimate time. 2 to go. Sierra and Lenny are in a very tight fight. Sierra just hoping to get as far ahead on track as he can. That's going to be really hard. That was a crucial penalty. And Lenny threw on the outside. I think there was even a little bit of contact there as we go through. This is going to put Leo into play. Sierra's lagged out of the session. Oh, no.
Oh.
That is tragic.
This far into the race and this late into the race.
Yeah, that is the worst feeling. He's going to be gutted. He is going to be gutted as he's now down in 5th. But here we go. We are about to start the final lap of the Australian Grand Prix. Drew is about to look on. Maybe try to get his first race win. For a penultimate time, he's going to go through this final chicane. Here we go. It's close. It's very close now. And the final lap of the Australia Grand Prix is underway. Drew holds Lenny, who is holding over Leo, who is holding over Mateus. Drew has a time penalty! And it slips away!
Just like that.
Oh, that's a gutting feeling. He was pushing hard. Too hard.
And he threw it away just like that.
Yeah, and Sierra's internet is being Sierra's internet again as he's down in 11th. Did his car pit him? His AI,
Yes.
I think, pit.
Yep. The
Why?
AI
Ooh, Lenny gets around outside. He doesn't want to do it off track. He wants to do it on track. Lenny is now leading the Australian Grand Prix. Got a lot of traction. Leo and Mateus are fighting here. Lenny's not taking chances with the stewards with a potential reversal of a penalty. Lenny is crossing. Here he goes on his debut. Right on back. He leaves himself where he started. It's gonna be a drag race down to the line. But Lenny wins the Australian Grand Prix. More importantly, crossing the line in 2nd now. After penalties are applied. Du bist Weltmeister. Leo is champion. Leo is the champion here in FRL.
He is the man. He is the man.
He has, yeah, he has fought hard all season. A season that has not gone swimmingly. A season filled with drama. One where there may be some uncertainty about how this league goes through the future. Anxieties over the new game switching. But there was one consistency. Leo was always there. He was always fighting. And it's a German one, too, on the podium. Lenny, his former championship rival. Not quite enough. No, it's Lenny. Their championship fight was cut short earlier in the season. But now they're here. And Mercedes also wrap up the Constructors' Championship here. Lenny still finishing strong. Drew with the fastest lap point. Looking at the remainder of the grid. Mateus in 4th, Kimaru 5th, Glaszy 6th, Highs in 7th, good for Williams. Laz in 8th, could be his best finish of the season. It's one of his better finishes. Then in 9th, after everything, they managed to get 2 points out of it. Skylar in 10th, getting the last point. Out of the points is Sierra, who had connection issues. Avery and Morgan is our sole DNF of the race. There's still much to do. Many championship positions to be decided, even if the winner's already there. We still are going to have a fight between Red Bull, Haas, and Alpine for second place in the Constructors' Championship. Red Bull gets to take a little bit of a chunk out of it. We do have the fight between McLaren and Ferrari in the Constructors, as well as the fight for last in the P7 in the Constructors, as well as for, even now this puts P9 in the Constructors up for grabs. AlphaTauri are pretty solidly in P7, even if not mathematically. In the driver's standings, Sierra and Drew are going to be continuing their fight, but Drew ekes out a gap here. Lenny and Sierra are going to be in a fight now, as well as Lenny and Drew, really. That does eat out 9 points. I believe, yeah, 9 points. With a gap that was 31. So we are within a good gap. Especially as Drew has DNF before, and anything could happen. Next week is the Canadian Grand Prix. Same time, same place. But for now, I've been Nexy. I've been joined by Pritas. We hope to see you for round 14 of the FRL season. It's the Canadian Grand Prix is next. Alright, I'm gonna go find a raid out target for my stream. I like to give a little raid. What a good race, though.
Where's my Mercedes?
Yeah, I don't
Getting
think
out
there's anybody I
Australia.
want to. I'll see y'all later.